conversion of a galvanometer into an ammeter. So the aim of the experiment is to convert a tabletop type pointer type galvanometer into an ammeter. Now coming to the theory involved, the conversion of galvanometer into an ammeter and calculating the converted ammeter or converted galvanometer using a potentiometer. The aim involved for components. First we want to determine the resistance of the galvanometer and the figure of merit K. Figure of merit K is actually also called the current sensitivity. That is the current sensitivity is the current required to produce a deflection of one scale division. Now we want to convert the galvanometer to ammeter. Then the third one is we want to calibrate with the help of a potentiometer and then draw the calibration curve. So we have provided the apparatus, a pointer type tabletop galvanometer. Now a potentiometer arrangement is there. Now coming to the theory involved. Now we can convert a galvanometer into an ammeter by connecting a small resistance which is called a shunt resistance parallel or across the galvanometer. Now here when the galvanometer is connected between the two terminals A and B, we have a shunt and that shunt is also connected between A and B, that is parallel to the galvanometer. Now if we consider this particular connection, we can write the relation that is Ig into G, that is into Is into S. That means Ig is the current that flowing through the galvanometer, where G is the galvanometer resistance. Now Is is the current flowing through the shunt, where S is the shunt resistance. Then between A and B, the potential difference will be the same. Same means Ig into G, that should be equal to Is into S. Now from that, we can write the value of Ig, that is Ig is into Is into S divided by G, or we can write that is I minus Ig. The reason is Is equal to I minus Ig, where I is the current that is entering the circuit and only a current Ig flows to the galvanometer and the remaining current Is flows through the shunt. Ig is the maximum safe current that can pass through the galvanometer. So the Is, the current flowing to the shunt, should be equal to I minus Ig. So Is is equal to I minus Ig. So I minus Ig into S by G. Or we can write Ig into G, Ig into G, that is equal to I minus Ig into S. Or we can write Ig into G plus, here one term is there, Ig into S, that is become plus, that is equal to I into S. So that is I into S. Or Ig is equal to Is divided by G plus S. So that's value of Ig. Ig is equal to, that is one of the expression for Ig. Ig is equal to Is divided by G plus S. Now again, if you are having the galvanometer which is having a current sensitivity K, that is the current required to produce unit reflection, and if the galvanometer is having N scale readings, usually the galvanometer is having 30 divisions or N divisions, then this Ig should be equal to K into N. We can write if K is the current sensitivity and N is the number of divisions of the galvanometer, Ig is equal to K into. So we have two expressions for Ig. One is Ig is equal to Is divided by G plus S and Ig is equal to K into N. Now we have from these two equations we can write K into N, that is equal to Is by G plus S. Now that is nearly equal to Is divided by G, because this G plus S, that G is the galvanometer resistance and S we can see that is a very small resistance, so we can neglect this S. Then Is by G, that's value of Kn, or then S is equal to Kng divided by I. S is equal to Kng divided by I. Now again, if we take the value of I is 1 ampere, where I is the current which can be maximum current that can be measured by the converted galvanometer. Say we want to measure a maximum value of 1 ampere maximum, then we are taking I is to 1 ampere, then S is equal to Kng. So that is the main aim of the experiment. We want to find what is the shunt required to connect across the galvanometer to convert it into an ammeter. That shunt value is having value Kng. So the shunt value depends on the number of turns of the galvanometer. I mentioned usually N will be 30. Now we want to find the galvanometer resistance G and the current sensitivity K. So first we want to determine K and G, then only we can calculate the value of S. So coming to the procedure part, we want to determine the value of G and K. Now K is determined with the help of the equation. K is equal to E by P plus 2 into 1 by G into P by D. Now for that we are using this particular circuit diagram. Now two resistance P and Q is selected such that P is having value say 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. But P plus 2 is usually 1000 or 2000. That we can determine depending upon the resistance of the galvanometer. So we want to get an observable reflection in the galvanometer such that we can decide the value of P and Q. Now when P and Q is connected to a accumulator and key, now a galvanometer is included in the circuit with the help of a commutator and the resistance are also connected in series. Now the potential difference across P is given to the galvanometer. Then the galvanometer shows some reflection. That reflection is D. Now from the theory of half reflection method, we are introducing some values in R such that the reflection in the galvanometer is half the original value. For example, initially if the galvanometer is a reflection of say 10 divisions, we want to introduce R such that the reflection becomes 10 by 2, that is 5. That value of R in our theory it gives the galvanometer resistance. We can repeat that because if you are changing the value of P, so initially P is 2, now P is changed to value 4. Now when it is changed to value or increases, the potential difference across P increases and that potential difference is applied across galvanometer, so the galvanometer reflection also increases. Now let the galvanometer reflection is 14. Again we are introducing R value such that this galvanometer reflection becomes half, say 7. Then again we are getting R value. So that R value is actually given. That means we can repeat the experiment by changing P, and each when we are changing P, the reflection and the value of R also changes. So that is the repetition of the experiment. Then from that we can determine the value of G and P by D are obtained. Using the value of G and P by D, we can calculate the value of K. Then using the value of K and G and knowing the value of N, we can determine the value of shunt resistance. We should calculate the value of S. Now we are getting a small resistance value, but usually this small resistance value is not connected with the help of a resistance box. It is connected with the help of a wire, that is a shunt wire. The length of the wire is decided using the formula. Now we are having a formula. If you are having a wire having a resistivity rho, resistivity is given by pi r square S by N, where R is the radius of the wire, S the resistance of the wire, rho the resistivity, that is resistance per centimeter. Now from there we can find the value of L. That means the length of the wire required for a given resistance S, that is calculated using the formula N is equal to pi r square S by rho V. So if we use a non-wire resistivity and S value we calculate value of N. Sometimes we may get 30 or 40 centimeter. Now we are using that wire of that particular material as a shunt wire, and that wire is connected across the galvanometer. Then the galvanometer is converted to an ammeter. Now coming to the third part, that is the calibration part. We are using a potentiometer for the calibration. Between A and B, we are having the primary circuit, accumulator, rheostat. Then in the secondary, we are using a six-way key. Now using a diagonal cell is connected using the six-way key. Say initially these two keys are plugged key, and these two keys are unplugged. Then only the diagonal cell is included. Then find the balance then, and that balance then corresponds to diagonal cell voltage. Diagonal cell voltage is 1.08. Then let the balance then is capital L. Then 1.08 corresponds to capital L. So we can write 1.08 proportion to L. Then the dimension is standardized. Now we include the converter galvanometer. The second part is included. The dimension is removed, unplugging these two keys and plug the key here. Then now we are connecting a standard resistance and a voltage source and a rheostat to change the current. Now a certain current is going to R. Now due to that current, a certain potential difference is there across R. That potential difference is given in the secondary circuit. Then the galvanometer gives, the potentiometer circuit, this galvanometer shows a certain diffraction. Now, this particular current is going through this converter galvanometer, the converter galvanometer. So, we are measuring the current by two equations. One is directly from the converter galvanometer and the other one is by measuring the balance length of the potentiometer. Now, for that, coming to the theory, we can see that. Now, if the galvanometer shows a reading of n divisions when it is connected, when the key is plugged, if the galvanometer shows a division of, say, for example, say 15 divisions. Now, the converted galvanometer reading I0 is 1 by n into n. That means if the galvanometer is having 30 divisions, now small n is 30, 1 by 30 into 15. That means 30 divisions reads 1 ampere. So, one division reads only 1 by 30 ampere. Now, there are 15 divisions, it is noted, it shows a diffraction. Then 15 divided by 30 or 1 by 30 into 15, we are getting 0.5. That means now the current is 0.5 ampere and that is ISO. That is ISO. Similarly, if the divisions n is equal to say 20 divisions, then the current is equal to 1 by 30 into 20. So, that is a current and that is marked as ISO. Now, again we mentioned the potential difference across R, that is IR. This IR is given in the secondary circuit. Now, what happens? This IR is proportional to L. L is the balance length we obtain. Now, using these two expressions, 2, 1 and 2, if we divide 2 by 1 to obtain IR divided by 1.08, that is equal to L by L, or I is equal to 1.08. I is equal to 1.08 L divided by RA. So, that is the calculated value of current. So, we are having two values of current. One is the calculated value, that is 1.08 L by RA. The other one is the reading that we noted from the divisions of the galvanometer, that is 1 by L into L, where it is the divisions 1 by 30 into L, that is ISO. Now, we calculate the I minus I0 and we plotted a graph, and that I minus I0 gives the correction and a graph can be plotted. Before that, we can repeat the experiment. To repeat the experiment, we are changing the rheostat position, then the current to the circuit changes, the division on the galvanometer also changes. Say initially if it shows a reflection of 15, now it becomes 20 or another value because the current is changing. As the current changes, VD across R changes, then the balance length, if it is increasing, the balance length also changes, that is L changes, then we can determine the new value of current. So, by changing the rheostat position, we can calculate the current to the circuit such that it reads some division, say 5, 10, 15, 20, etc. we noted, and each time we noted the value of length. And then we plotted a graph between I0 along the x-axis and I minus I0 along the y-axis. Then we are supposed to get a irregular or zigzag graph like this. That is the experimental setup. Now, coming to the Taylor column that we use for the observations, we mentioned P value is there, Q value is there. Usually we are taking P as 5, 8, 10, 12, etc. Then P plus 2 is 1000, so Q is equal to, when P is equal to 5, Q is equal to 995, when P is equal to 8, Q is equal to 992, etc. Then in the galvanometer, when the commutator is in one side, we are getting a left side diffraction, that is D. So, we obtain D. Now, we are taking this R included, R is included such that this diffraction becomes half, that is, we are getting a D value here. Then, when the commutator is reversed, the diffraction should be in the right side. Then again R value should reduce so that the diffraction becomes half, that is right here. Then mean D is calculated, P by D is calculated. Then from the R value we obtain left and right mean, so that is mean G value, that is not D, that is G value, half diffraction. Then we can calculate K, use the formula E by P plus 2 into 1 by G by P by D, K is calculated. Now it is repeated by changing the value of P to 8, then to 10, 12, 14, 16, etc. Each time we determine the value of K, and also we obtain the value of G also. So mean G we obtain. Similarly, substituting G and P by D, K is calculated. K also we obtain. Then we calculate the value of shunt using the formula K and G. So shunt is calculated. Now we use a particular resistance wire knowing a known value of rho. Using that value of known value rho and finding the radius of the wire that we use, we determine the length that we require to make a shunt. So that length is calculated. Then the next part coming to the calibration, we are using a potentiometer. The Daniell cell is having a voltage of 1.08. Now we determine the balance length for the Daniell cell first. Then the converter ammeter is connected. Then say the ammeter gives a deflection of 5 division for a particular position of the rheostat. If it is 5, we can calculate the value of I0, that is 1 by n into n, that is 1 by 30 into 5, that is I0. Then the balance length is noted L. Using that value of balance length, I is calculated, that is 1.08 L by Rn, where R is the standard resistance included, either it is 1 over 2 ohm. Then the correction impedance I0 is calculated. It is repeated for a value of divisions 10. So we are getting, when rheostat is moved, we are getting a deflection 10 division, then 15 division, 18 division, 20, 24, etc. Then each time we calculate value of I0 noted, I calculated, I minus I0 calculated, and the calibration graph is plotted, and that is the result. Now coming to the experimental setup for the conversion, we want to find out the shunt resistance S. So for the calculation of shunt resistance, so we have seen the theory. S is calculated using the formula S is equal to N K G, where N is the number of divisions. Here number of divisions on the galvanometer is 30. Now we want to determine the galvanometer resistance G, and similarly the K value. Now for that we are having a formula for K. K is calculated using the formula E by P plus Q into 1 by G into P by D. Now for that calculation of K and the determination of G, we are using a circuit diagram like this. Now two resistance P and Q. Now P and Q are selected such that P plus Q is nearly 1000 ohm. P is of the order of say 5, 8, 10, 12, etc. small value, and an accumulator is connected across P and Q, so a current is flowing. Now a galvanometer is connected across P through a resistance R, also with the help of a commutator. The commutator is used to reverse the direction of current only. Now from the theory of the half deflection method we already mentioned, initially let the galvanometer shows a deflection when R is equal to 0. So we can give the connections. So here now we are using an accumulator. The accumulator is connected to P. So this is the resistance P, the resistance box. We are using a box. We can unplug any value of resistance in P. Now from the other end of P it is connected to Q. Now this is the connection, and now this is the resistance box Q. Here also we can include any value of resistance. Now from Q it is connected to a key and the negative of the battery. So a key is included here. Then now across P a commutator is connected. Now this is the commutator. The commutator connection is here. Then R is included. R is included through the commutator. So two opposite ends of the commutator is used to include the given galvanometer. So the two opposite ends of the commutator is used to include the galvanometer in the circuit. Now connections are made. Now we are taking a value of say P. We can take 5. Now the deflection will be less for 5. So I am taking a value of 15 ohm here. Now a value of 15 ohm is unplugged in P value. Now in here in the Q we are introducing a key 985, so that P plus Q is 1000. So 985 is included in Q. Now R is 0. We are giving contact of the jockey. Now we can see there is a deflection in the galvanometer. So the galvanometer shows a deflection here. So here the deflection is 40. Now P value is 15 ohm. Now the deflection of the galvanometer is 14 we obtain. Now we want to introduce some resistance in the box R, so that deflection becomes half the value. So 14 we want to change it to 7. So we are taking some resistance, say 500 ohm. Now the deflection becomes almost 1 or 2, that is not possible. So we are taking another value, say 200 ohm. Now also the deflection is only 3, 4, etc. So I am taking another value by trial. I am taking a value of say 100. Now the deflection is almost 7, but slightly greater than 7, it is 8 here. So I am trying some fractional values, say 110 is taken. Now slightly it is 7 point, not exactly 7, slightly greater. So I am taking some additional values, say 5 is introduced here. So total value taken in the box R is 100, 10 and 5, 115. Now the deflection becomes 7. So half the deflection. So that is the value of D. So here I am noting the P value is 15 and the Q value is 985. So the right side deflection is 14 when the commutator is given contact in one side. The value of R for half the deflection I obtained 150. Now insert the R again back, R is again 0, and then the commutator is reversed. So the commutator is reversed, the commutator can be reversed, then current in the circuit is reversed. Now the galvanometer is showing a deflection of again 14 here, or 15 is here, that is in the left side, a deflection of 15 in the left side. So it is noted, the P value is again 15, no change, Q value is 985, the deflection in the galvanometer is 15 divisions in the left side, so that is noted 15. Now again we are introducing the value of R, say again 100 ohm is taken. Now we want to 7.5, between 7 and 8 half deflection, we are again trying. So 100, 110, 110, then 112, then 114. Now for 114, what happens that the deflection becomes 7 or 7.5, actually it is between 7 and 8. So that reading is also noted 140. So we have completed one set, P is equal to 15, deflections D 14 and 15. So we can calculate P by D, P by D we can calculate because P is 15 and mean value of D is here. Now we obtain the galvanometer resistance 2 times and the mean value of galvanometer resistance is 115, 114 and 115, so 114.5. Actually in this case we are subtracting the value of P, that is 15, then we are getting the resistance of the galvanometer as 100 ohm. So the resistance of the galvanometer is 100 ohm. Now we can repeat, now we are changing the P value to a value of say 20, P value is changed to a value of 20, R value is again 0, R value is again 0, in R value is again 0. Then we can see the galvanometer shows a deflection of about 24. Galvanometer is showing a deflection of about 24. Now again take the value of R, we note the readings, P value is 20, Q value is 980 only, 980. Now we are taking the deflection is 24, now we want to make the deflection 14. So by trial we are taking different values, so 100, so 120. And now for 120, what happens that the deflection becomes 10, half the value. So we can note that P value is 20, Q value is 980, then left side deflection is 20, the value of R for half deflection, that is to make the deflection 10, it is 120. Now interchange, reverse the current using the commutator, again R is 0, R is 0. Now the deflection is in the right side, again the deflection is 20 here. So we have again marked the deflection as 20. Again we are introducing R value by trial, take different values 120, 121, and now for 121 it becomes half the deflection. So it is repeated for some more values of P, and each value of P the deflection D is noted, then P by D is calculated. So here I am calculating P by D, and P by D I obtained a mean value 1.0886, and the mean value of G I obtained again 100.83. So I obtained the value of P and I obtained the value of G. Then K is calculated using the formula E divided by P plus Q into 1 by G into P by D. So it is calculated, E is equal to 2 volt, P plus Q is 1000, P by D is 1.0886, G is 100. So K value is obtained. So this galvanometer is having a current sensitivity of 2.159 into 10 to the power of 6 minus 6 ampere. Now, in order to calculate the value of S, we are having the formula n kg. N is 30 here. So, 30 into the value of K obtained is 2.159 into 10 to the power minus 6, and the value of G obtained is 100. So, I obtained the value of S here. Now, S we are I am getting 0.06528, 0.06528 we obtained, that is value of S. It is a very small resistance. Now, this resistance is included with the help of a shunt wire. Now, this is the shunt wire that is used. Actually, it is a copper wire, it is an insulated copper wire, and now this copper wire is having a resistivity of 1.68 into 10 to the power of minus 6, that is a constant value for the copper wire. Now, substituting that value of S, rho, and we want the radius also of the copper wire. For that we are using a screw gauge. Now, with the help of the screw gauge we can find the pitch scale reading and head scale reading. Here the pitch scale reading is 0 and the head scale reading is 29. So, that is noted. It is repeated for another point, a different point it is repeated. So, there is a slight change in the head scale reading, that is the head scale reading is 30, and the screw gauge is having a correction of 1 division, that is also considered. So, the diameter of the wire is calculated. So, the calculated value of diameter is 0.28 millimeter. So, the radius is 0.14 millimeter or 0.14 into 10 to the power of minus 3 meter. So, using that value of R, the L value is calculated using the formula pi R square S. Yes, we obtain 0.06 divided by rho. Rho is 1.68 into 10 to the power of minus 6. So, the L value is calculated. So, we are getting an L value of 0.23 or 0.24 meter, that is 24 centimeter. So, we require 24 centimeter of this wire. So, with the scale, so we are measuring a length of 24 centimeter of the wire. So, exactly 24 centimeter we have to take, but keep a slight 1 centimeter each on either side. You can keep 1 centimeter on each either side, that is to make the connections. So, cut the wire. So, take a length of, instead of 24, here I am taking a length of 26, 1 centimeter each for connection. Now, remember both the two ends of the wire should be cleaned well, it should be removed, it should be the insulation should be completely removed, and the galvanometer, and we are connecting this particular wire across the two terminals of the galvanometer, after removing the insulation. The insulation is completely removed, and this is the shunt wire, and when we are connecting this shunt here, now what happens that this particular galvanometer is converted to an ammeter which reads 1 ampere, for full scale. So, that means here for 30 divisions the ammeter is reading 1 ampere. Then for 1 division you can see, since there are 30 divisions, the value of 1 division is only 1 by 30. So, 1 division value of current is 1 by 30. Now, we want to calibrate this converted ammeter. Now, this is a converted ammeter, that is a shunt connected or across the galvanometer. We are using a potentiometer for that. With the help of the potentiometer, we can calibrate this converted ammeter. Now, for the calibration part using the potentiometer, the connections are made as shown in the diagram. Now, this is the potentiometer wire AB. Now, between A and B we are connecting the accumulator, rheostat and key. Here the potentiometer is here. Now, this is the terminal A. So, the accumulator is connected positive. So, negative of the accumulator is connected to a rheostat and a key is included, and that is connected to the terminal B. So, that is the primary circuit. Now, in the secondary we are using a 6-way key here. Now, using the 6-way key, two terminals are connected to a Daniell cell. Now, this is the Daniell cell. So, when we plug the upper two keys, the Daniell cell is included. So, here we are an arrangement for supplying the Daniell cell voltage, that is 1.08 voltage. So, that is a 6-way key. The 6-way key is here. Now, the 6-way key is connected. So, to the two terminals of the 6-way key, the Daniell cell is connected. Now, when we are plugging these two keys, the Daniell cell is included. Now, the other part we are connecting the other two terminals of the 6-way key to a standard resistance. This is the standard resistance. Now we are using a value of say 1 ohm from the standard resistance. Now that standard resistance is connected to again a voltage source, and a key and a rheostat. This is the rheostat here. Then this is the our converted galvanometer. So this is the galvanometer, and this galvanometer is converted into an ammeter when the shunt, now this is the shunt resistance, when the shunt resistance is connected here. So the shunt is connected across the galvanometer. So that is the converted galvanometer. So the converted galvanometer. Now from the center tap of the 6-way key, a galvanometer, another galvanometer is connected, that is for to take the balancing length. So that is the circuit diagram or circuit arrangement, and we made all the connections here. The connections are done. Now initially we want to introduce the Daniell cell. So the Daniell cell is included, and we want to find the balance length for the Daniell cell. So we are finding the balance length. So on the first row we are getting left deflection, and on the last row we are getting a deflection on the right side. Now moving, we are getting a 0 deflection here. Now the galvanometer gives a 0 deflection. So that is at a point of 950. So the balanced length corresponds to the Daniell cell, that is capital L. Here I am getting capital L. The balanced length for the Daniell cell is 950 centimeter. 950 centimeter. Now in the secondary circuit, as we mentioned, the secondary circuit is included with the converted galvanometer and the standard resistance. So the secondary circuit is included. Now we can see the galvanometer is showing some deflections. Now when we change the rheostat, when we move the rheostat, now we can observe that there is a change in deflection in the galvanometer. The galvanometer reading is changing. You can see the galvanometer reading is changing. So you can see the galvanometer reading is changing when the rheostat is moved. That means the current through the galvanometer, that means the ammeter is changing, or the current through the standard resistance is changing. So PD across the resistance is changing, that is why the galvanometer deflection is changing. Now initially let the galvanometer reads a value of say 5 division. Then we can calculate the value of I0, then I0 should be equal to 1 by n, 1 by 30 into 5. Now the deflection is 5 divisions. Now the deflection is 5 divisions in the galvanometer. Now at that time, move the jockey over the potentiometer wire. Now where we are getting a 0 deflection. So we can observe. Now there is a deflection on the left side, there is a deflection on the right side. So we are moving the jockey here. When we are moving the jockey, now here we are getting a 0 deflection. So here we are getting the first row or second row we are getting a deflection. Second row we are getting 0 deflection, and this particular point corresponds to 0 deflection 120. So I am getting 120 here. So for a particular point of 120, the balance length L is 120. So we mark the value. The deflection in the galvanometer is 5 division. So that is 5, and the balance length L is equal to 120. Now we can calculate the I0 value. I0 I mentioned 1 by 30 into 5, that is 0.166, that is the I0 value. Then we are calculating the value of I. I is calculated as 1.08 into 120 divided by 950. So that is calculated as 0.1364. So there is a correction. I0 is 0.166 and calculated value of I is only 0.1364 only. So there is a difference of minus 0.0296, that is the correction. Now we are repeating means the rheostat is changed so that the galvanometer gives a deflection of say 10 division. Now you can see the galvanometer gives a deflection of 10 division. Galvanometer gives a deflection of 10 division. Now we want to find out where we are getting the balancing length. So initially it is giving a left deflection here, it is giving a right deflection. So we are moving over the wire. Now it comes to a 0 deflection here. Now at this particular point, left deflection, on the next line it is right deflection, and here the deflection is 0 deflection. Now we want to take the length from the NDA. Now here the length from the NDA is, it is in the third row, 200 is completed and 210. So the value is 210 for a value for the scale division 10 divisions, L value is 210. Now we can calculate the I0 value. I0 is 1 by 30 into 10, that is 0.33, and the L value is 210. So I is equal to 1.08 into 210 divided by R is capital R is 1 into 950, that is 0.2387. So again we are getting a minus error value, correction value. So that is minus 0.2387 minus 0.33, that is equal to 0.0943 as the correction. Now we are repeating means the rheostat is moved again, so that the galvanometer reads say 12 division, again it is moved, galvanometer gives 14 division, again it is moved, galvanometer is giving a deflection of 16, galvanometer giving a deflection of 18, 20, 22, etc. Or in each case we are determining the value of we are measuring the value of L, the balancing length, and using that balancing length value we can calculate the value of I, that is calculated value of I, and from the number of divisions we obtain the value of I0. So we can calculate I minus I0 and the correction is determined. Now coming to a sample set of observations for the conversion of galvanometer to ammeter. Initially we are finding the value of G and K. Now we are using P and Q such that P plus Q is 1000 ohm. The accumulator is having a voltage of 2. Initially the P value is 5, then Q value is 995. Then the galvanometer shows a reflection of 6. Then we introduce some value of R such that that diffraction becomes 3, half, d by 2. Now for that we introduce 105 ohm. That is value of R for the galvanometer gives half diffraction. Now again the commutator is changed, then what happens, we are getting a refraction in the right side, and that is only 5. Then again we introduce R value such that that diffraction becomes half, 2.5, for that again we introduce 105. So we can obtain the mean of these two diffractions, that is 5.5, mean of these two R values, that is 105. Now a correction is added here because the value of P is not 1, 2, 3 small values, it is having some higher values. In such cases we are supposed to add a correction. That correction is the corrected value G is R3 minus P. So in each time this R3 value minus P value is also taken, that is the value of G, that is not a T. Now it is repeated for a P value 10, then Q value is only 90, then PD increases, therefore the reflection increases to value 8. Now we introduce a resistance of 112 for a half reflection, that is to make the reflection 8 to 4, that is 112. Then commutator is reversed, we obtain a diffraction 9. Now we want to make the diffraction 4.5, that is we introduce a resistance R, that is 110. Then mean of these two 111 minus P, 10 is subtracted, then you obtain 101. And the mean value of D is 8 and 9, that is 8.5 divided by D. P by D, that is 10 divided by 8.5, that is 1.17. Similarly, in each case it is repeated, and in each case you determine the value of P by D and the value of G. Then from that mean value of G, that is 100.83, G value, and P by D is 1.0886, we calculate the value of K, E by P plus 2 into 1 by G P by D, then we obtain 2.159 into 10 to the power of minus 6. Now the given galvanometer is having 30 divisions, so the current sensitivity, the S value is calculated N kg, because we know N 30, K we obtain, G we obtain 108. 100.8. So S value, you can see the value of S, it is only 0.0652 ohms. That is very small resistance. That is why it is called a shunt resistance. Usually with the help of a resistance box we cannot introduce such a resistance. That is why we are connecting a shunt wire. Now we want to determine the length of that shunt wire. For that we have short that we are using a wire. Initially we find out the radius of the wire, the screw gauge, pitch gauge and catch gauge are noted. The diameter of the wire is 0.28 and the radius of the wire is only 0.14 into 10 to the minus 3 meter. Now we used a wire which is having, it is actually a copper wire, which is having a resistivity 1.68 into 10 to the power of minus 6. Then the length of the wire is calculated using the formula pi r square S. S is 0.06 mentioned, pi r square S r the radius. Then we obtain L as 0.24 meter, that is 24 centimeter. So we shown we are using a wire of 24 centimeter, and that wire when that wire is connected across the galvanometer, then using the potentiometer second part for the dimension we obtain an EMF of dimension is 1.08 volt. The balance then we obtain 950. We introduce a standard resistance of 1 ohm there, and across that we connected the potentiometer secondary circuit. Then when the rheostat is moved, the ammeter reads a division 5, then the I0 value is 1 by 30 into 5. Now it means the total number of divisions on the ammeter, that is 30, sorry, the ammeter, that is 30, 1 by 30 into 5, that is 0.166. At that time you obtain a balance then 120. Then the calculated current I is equal to 1.08 L divided by RL, that is 0.1364. So we are supposed to get 0.166, but the calculated value is only 1.1364. So there is a correction in our ammeter, and that correction is I minus I0, and that correction is minus, and that is equal to minus 0.0296. So that correction is there. Now it is repeated. Repeated means the rheostat is moved so that the galvanometer gives a deflection of 10 divisions. Then the current is equal to 1 by 30 into 10, that is 0.33. Then balance number obtained is 210. Calculated current is 1.08 into 210 divided by 950, that is 0.2387. Then the correction is again minus 0.094. When we repeated for rheostat position, so that we are getting 12 divisions, 14 division, 16 division, 18 division, 20 and 22 in the galvanometer. Each time I0 is noted, L we measured or noted, I is calculated, and I minus I0 is calculated. Then a graph is plotted with I minus I0 along the y-axis and I0 along the x-axis, that is the calibration curve, and this is the result we obtain.